The NFL's next best defensive superstar most likely won't be a top 5 pick in the NFL draft. The term positional value has been used so frequently the past few years, especially when it comes to the NFL draft. There's been a big debate between running backs having low positional value, and while that's not necessarily wrong, I think the NFL has been ignoring that stigma as of late, and it's paid off. And I think it's time for the NFL to do the same to the safety position. And it all starts with Caleb Downs. This video is about Caleb Downs and how great of a talent he is, but it is also about the term positional value being thrown around in NFL discourse. But let's start with Caleb Downs as a prospect. Overall, he's a pretty good size for a safety. He's pretty athletic. It's not like he's super slow. I don't think he'll run maybe a 40 like we saw Kyle Hamilton do a few years ago, but it's not like he's this uber athlete, but I don't think the athleticism is scaring you away. He's 6 foot, 205 pounds. He has quick hips. He moves with fluidity. At times, he probably moves like a cornerback for the most part. If he wanted to make the switch, he could. I don't think he should, but he has the athleticism to where if he needs to fill a role like that, he definitely can, and at times looks like a corner. He's also able to mirror tight ends and other slots when they're in man coverage and he has to get closer to the line, so he's able to keep up with some of those athletes. Now, what I think makes him a good safety is that he's an intelligent defensive player. He processes information at a very, very high level, and he does it so quickly to where he's able to read and react, and the ability to make a play on the ball or on the ball carrier. His ability to see the whole field is excellent, right? He's kind of that quarterback of the defense. He really is that shot caller on defense. He also has a great ability to see the whole field. It's really good. He's great in zone coverage, able to read the quarterback and at times manipulate the quarterbacks so he can go ahead and make a play on the ball. He's also just a wonderful leader on the defense, a leader in the locker room, as many people have said. He's essentially the quarterback of the defense, right? You talk about a maybe off-ball middle linebacker being that guy. No, they are the ones with the green dots, but Caleb Downs can kind of inherently play that role because I would assume put him around the right player, right coach, he can move all across the field. Now, as a run defender, he's excellent in that too. That's not a weakness of his. Along with his intelligence, his ability to read and react and look at the ball carrier and attack downhill and make a sound tackle is very strong. He's a strong, sound tackler, so you won't have to worry about him in run defense and run fits, blitzing maybe a gap and attacking the hole. And overall, a great tackler who is able to light somebody up from time to time. Caleb Downs is a pure ball player. Sure, the statistical production isn't there, but he's everything you want from a superstar safety. From athleticism to intelligence, the coverage to being a contributor on the run defense. Now, with that being said, he may not even be a top 5 pick, nor the first defensive player taken in this draft. And that's not just because the defensive talent is off the charts or there's a ton of blue chip prospects in the 2026 NFL draft. It's considered a relatively weaker draft, especially when it comes to depth. And Caleb Downs is probably the most talented defensive player in this draft, at least I think for most people. And there's only going to be one quarterback taken in the top 5 and possibly the entire first round. So there's no quarterbacks pushing him down the board. Just, I think, pure talk around position of value might have him fall when he could be a top 3 player in the NFL draft. The idea of positional value isn't new. But about 4 to 5 years ago, there was this big wave of downplaying running backs due to not having high positional value. Now, that's part of the offensive line having a big impact on how a running back performs, which is true. But if you have a top running back, it doesn't matter as much. Now we're having Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs, Ashton Jeanty, Jeremiah Love is probably going to be a top 10 pick in this year's draft. So there's a shift. And I think there should now be a shift in safeties, starting with Caleb Downs. The poster boy is Kyle Hamilton, who fell to the 14th pick after consensusly being a top 5 to 10 player in the draft, with multiple teams passing on him due to his position and 40 time, but that's whatever. The bulk of the conversation comes from schemes with good defensive mind and play callers. You don't need to spend high resources on a safety. A mid to late round draft pick or a cheap free agent option would work as long as they're smart enough and can run on 2 feet. But I think that undermines having a good defensive head coach or coordinator that looks past the title of safety for players who are amazing at football. Kyle Hamilton this past year has been put closer to the line of scrimmage. He's done a great job in covering downfield and being a deep line playmaker, but you can move him around the field because he has the ability of just being a pure football player. And that's led to more quarterback pressures, that's led to great run defense, and I think you can do a similar thing with Caleb Downs and the future of these star-studded safeties who are going to be coming into the draft the next few years. For the teams that missed on Kyle Hamilton in 2022, that there's some type of learning and growth from how you just got to be able to get the best ball player in the NFL draft, and especially a draft like this. Because look at the Giants. They drafted Kayvon Thibodeaux and Evan Neal. Kayvon Thibodeaux wasn't bad, but Evan Neal turned out to be a bust. The Commanders, they traded down to get Jahan Dotson, and that didn't work. And that's a whole nother conversation about value, because they decided they thought they could get more value trading down than getting a stud in Kyle Hamilton. Now, I don't think Caleb Downs will fall to pick 14, but I think that's more on how weak of a draft class this is, and there not being as many blue chip talents than the NFL switching their mindset of positional value, especially when it comes to the safety position. If I was a GM, I'd be picking him top 3. But if you want to check out my most recent mock draft and see where I think he'll actually go, click the video right here, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.